Dogfighters. My name is Billa, and I'm here with Yip and Smashfeller, and I'm going to be bringing you to fight Bob versus Zerox. Now, I don't know too much about the scene as it is right now, but I know that Yip does. So Yip, how about you give us an introduction to these pilots right now?
Alright guys, so we got VV-ZeroX here on the friendly side with the blue tags, and we got Bob on the enemy team with no tags. So Bob has been around the scene for quite a long time now, and he's got exceptional switching and really good aim. Not much known about Zerox personally, but from the last match we gathered that he's got a very good switch and can cut very well.
Alright, that's always good to hear. Now, we're waiting to get the fights actually going right now, but right now I'd just like to apologize in advance for my voice. I have been sick lately, but we'll work with it, no big deal. So anyway though, let's get these fights going. I think that we should be starting any second. Alright, just making sure everybody's ready. Yep, we're good. Alright, let's go. Alright, so everybody, just remember that Zerox is the one with the blue tag, and Bob is the one without the tag. So first off, we have both pilots. One of them starts with a vertical switch. That's Bob right there. Zerox decides to follow through, goes up. He does an ECM switch of his own, does an opposite switch, goes up, goes to the left. Bob catches that, goes down to try and counter that, but again, very good counter cutting coming from Zerox right now. Switch down from Bob right now. Zerox sees that late. Bob manages to even out the fight with that. Does start to gain position over Zerox right now as it is. But as it is right now, it looks as though Bob is slowly starting to gain angles on Zerox, and very slowly though. It looks like Zerox can easily steal this away, but Zerox wants to switch up. Bob does not see that at all. Wow, great position from Zerox right there. Shots going into Bob. Bob is going to be hurting very badly. And Bob with another bad switch right there. Goes up with ECM. What a bad move. But does manage to even out the angles a little bit. Zerox decides to switch up with ECM again. And again, very good awareness from Zerox right now. Bob is he's struggling to just keep the fight even as it is right now. More shots going into him right now. He's smoking very badly. Unfortunately, we don't have telemetry like Flapslap did, but no matter. ECM switch up from Bob. Zerox counters that quite well. Another scissor roll coming from Bob again. But again, Zerox sees that. He's been counter-cutting this very well. A switch up to the right from Zerox. Bob sees that. More shots coming from both of them. Zerox kind of honey-trapped a little bit, but he deals with it quite well. Zerox decides to switch down to the left, and Bob sees that. Bob is slowly gaining position over Zerox right now as it is, and Zerox is making the bad move of forming an upward spiral that's going to give Bob the position that he needs to get shots on him, but Zerox switches downward to the ECM. Bob sees that immediately, gets more position over Zerox, and shots coming from Bob right now. Zerox is in a very bad position. Did that switch without ECM. That's not good. That's going to give Bob the position that he needs to get more shots. More ECM switching coming from Zerox, though, so Bob does see that, though, unfortunately for Zerox. Zerox is slowly starting to even out the angles, though, so he still does have a fighting chance. The fight is not even close to over. Zerox switches up to the right with ECM. Bob follows through perfectly with an ECM switch of his own. More shots are going to be coming from Bob any minute right now. Zerox just did a bad switch down. He shouldn't have done that. That's going to give more angles to Zerox as it is. Bob, sorry. But Zerox does manage to even out the angles. Very good awareness from Zerox right now. I'm very impressed with that. Zerox decides to sideline Bob with an ECM switch of his own. Not a huge effect, but it does manage to put the angles in Zerox's favor. Now, bad switch coming right now. They could be bad, but oh, Zerox does catch that, but late. The fight is going to remain even because of that. If he had called that earlier, that could have gone drastically in Zerox's favor, but no, he did not see that immediately. Now, Bob is still trying to gain position over Zerox right now. Does an ECM switch up and to the right, and Zerox catches that very quick. It's going to be a good position for Zerox right now. Angle slowly going into his favor, but we can see that Bob is slowly dragging him into speed scissors, trying to just wear away those angles down one by one. Zerox decides to just man up and just even out the fight and just try again, just start over. Bob decides to take advantage of that, though. Does an ECM switch up to the right, and Zerox responds with one of his own, going down to the left. Keeps the fight even. Very good awareness from him again. No ECM switch down to the left from Zerox. Fuck, I can't get these names right.
So good.
Yeah. ECM switch up to the right, to the left from Bob. Xerox decides to go up to the right to try and counter that. Does counter that very well, but he decides to go down to the right. That was a bad move. Bob's going to get some shots in there right now. But Xerox does manage to, just keep his awareness going. But he does an ECM switch down right now. Xerox catches that late. Bob, sorry. Xerox decides to go up. More shots coming from Bob as it is right now. Bob just trying to keep the position that he has, but he has a very difficult time keeping that. But Xerox with a very delayed switch to the left. That was a bad move. Again, more shots coming from Bob right now. This is looking very grim for Xerox if Bob is hitting his shots as he is right now. Very grim. Bob is hurting very badly right now, but this ECM switch could turn it all around for him. Oh, but great awareness from Bob. Decides to break off. Does an offensive switch as Xerox does a defensive switch. Keeps the fight even as opposed to letting it go into one and out of his favor. And he just picks up exactly where he left off, just slowly burning down Xerox's health. But Xerox decides to respond with a switch to the right of his own. Bob catches that and responds, going up to the right with an ECM switch of his own.
Nice to see some scissors involved here as well. Not long lasting, but it's always a good switch up. They're really trying everything here.
Yeah, we really need to see some more.
We can't expect Bob to go for those head-on shots. He does like to set them up frequently, usually top-downs actually.
You can see right now, actually, Bob just does get some shots into Xerox, just as you said he would. But Xerox, again, in a very bad position. He needs to get into some really defensive scissors. Speed scissors are nice, but they won't give you the kind of deadly angles that you need to get away. He does even out the fight, though, to some extent. ECM switch from Xerox. And, oh, a bad move from Bob right now. If Xerox catches that, which he does, that's a great position. That's all he needs right now. Right now, he has a good position on Bob, but now it's just a matter to see if he can hold it or not. Offensive ECM coming from Xerox, but Bob responds with an ECM switch to the right of his own. Xerox sees that perfectly, and now it's just a matter of following. Now it's just a matter of time. If Xerox can keep his speed, if Xerox can match Bob's speed, this is just a matter of time until Bob is dead. But it looks like Bob is trying to just even out the fight. ECM switch of his own. Xerox sees that quite late. Does manage to keep his angles, though, to some extent. And loop again around to the right. Looks like he's trying to get into some left-handed speed scissors right now. I don't know about that move, but it does seem to be working for him a little bit, not too much though. If I were him, I would try and tighten up the angles a little bit. But he does have a handle on his speed that seems to be better than Xerox's, so good point made by him, just trying to take advantage of the speed.
Ooh,
Deadly shots coming from Xerox, yeah, lots of smoke. Oh, was that a disable?
Black smoke.
No,
Black
still
smoke,
going.
very heavy smoke. Xerox is in a position to kill right now. More shots coming from him. I think those might have been fake shots. I don't see any more smoke. ECM to the right from Xerox. Oh, Bob is doing a great job of evening out the angles right now. Just a little bit more, and then the fight's going to be neutral. And there you go. I think that almost looks like a neutral fight, but he does... Oh, he went all the way around to the right. That's not what he needed to do. He should have switched to the left and would even out the angles. But, oh! Xerox does not see that switch. Bob goes down to the left, and Xerox does not see it. Now, Xerox is actually on the defensive right now, but he does even out the angles a little bit with scissors of his own. Again, great awareness from him. Xerox switches up. Bob sees that a little late, not too bad. But does manage to keep the fight even. Heavy shots coming from Bob right now. Xerox is in a very bad position right now. Black smoke from Xerox. But Xerox, he does, trying everything he can, and he's doing a very good job of just keeping the fight even, Whenever I get hurt, I'm just going to go into speed scissors, get my health back, and then I'm going to, do my next move. Switches up to the left with ECMs. Bob does not see that. That's, now the fight is officially even. Now Xerox can finally start working on his actual offense. Bob is starting to tighten up the scissors. Good move. That's a good move from him.
It's really anyone. It looks like it's anyone's game right now. One gets some shots into the other. It flips around like instantly.
That's exactly right. Right now you can see that Xerox does have the position over Bob as it is right now, but it's very close. Bob can easily steal this position away from Xerox, and actually manages to get some shots into Xerox. ECM from both pilots. We know how dangerous that can be. And right now you could see some heavy head-ons coming from Bob, but no, Bob doesn't even try it. He just goes left with the horizontal. Xerox decides to go down with a vertical loop, but he does a double switch. That could be a risky move. Yes, it does prove a gamble did not pay off. Allow Bob to get more shots into Xerox. Xerox in a bad position right now, though. Decides to switch it up with full 180 switch with ECM. Xerox does not see it. Wow. Again, once again, great awareness on Bob's part. Or Xerox's part.
Great awareness everywhere.
Yeah, seriously.
Back
Especially on
fire
Xerox
right now.
Well, we've all seen longer.
What's the timer?
Alright. Heavy shots coming from Xerox right now. Bob definitely has some smoke in him. I can't see him with the mesh quality as it is right now, but more offensive ECM coming from Xerox as it is right now. But Bob is just trying to buy himself some time, though, with Speed Scissors. I think that's a good move because his speed has proven to be a little bit better. Not much, but just a little bit better than Xerox's. That's buying the time he needs to just regen his health and just get his bearings, get back together. But Xerox is trying everything he can to just cut the angles and just get some finishing shots on Bob as it is right now.
What I think either of the pilots should do is, as soon as they get an offensive position on the other pilot, it's obviously not working just to follow because the other pilot counters it right away. I think
exactly right.
Yeah, they should try to use as soon as the other pilot uses his ECM. If you're in an offensive position and you can see that he already used it up, you try to go for something risky, like something.
This could be a kill right here. Sorry to cut you off. There's black smoke coming from Bob right now as it is. That was a great switch from Xerox going down with the ECM. Bob did not see that. Get some heavy shots into Bob as it is. But more ECM coming from Xerox. Bob did a great job of counter-cutting, just like you were saying just now. And more shots coming from Bob as it is. I think that what Bob needs to do is exactly what you said. Do a very risky switch, and then he could get, you know, a completely just ridiculous switch and just get a kill shot right off the bat. Both pilots are just getting very greedy for shots, and I think that could prove in just a crash right here, or maybe even one of these next loops.
Yeah, Bob is a fan of trying to continue these head-on loops right now.
Xerox has the better position as it was right there.
Black smoke of both of the pilots are almost on fire.
Yeah, very close. Xerox decides to switch upwards and away with ECM. If Bob sees that, that could be the finishing shot right there. But no, misses his shots. Xerox is still in the game. But just as a matter of where Bob lands his shots and a disable. Xerox is down 1-0. Bob with another good head-on shot. He takes the first point. 1-0.
Clap, clap. A game of head-ons.
God.
A game of head-ons.
Marriott has to check the time, so right. Excuse me, guys. A minute. Oh, here we go with round number 2. Smash. This is all you.
All right, both pilots. Oh, that's a really delayed start there by Bob, and it
looks like a fake
some
start.
Angles for. Yeah, almost. He tried to use the below radar there, but it didn't work in his favor this time.
Yeah, clearly
out of Bob. He's cutting, but Xerox is cutting back. I think I might have to join his squad here real quick, or maybe not. It's gonna divert him. I'll skip that. Bob goes down. Xerox does see it, and he tries to cut back into it. And if he follows up on this, it could go so well, but he doesn't. But Bob doesn't respond as well. Bob goes with the switch, but Xerox gets really good angles here. I don't know what happened there. Maybe
Xerox is in an absolutely perfect situation right now. If he can just hold this angle, this is the kill right here. But I don't know if he'll be able to. Bob is doing a very good job on defense. This is it right here.
Is coming out, but this is a really nice switch by Bob there. Puts off the angles for Xerox a lot.
Yeah, it was good mentioning Bob's defense. Recently, he's been really trying to get his defense down. He can pull some amazing switches here and there.
Yeah, no, definitely. You can see that right there. He just saved his own ass just by switching away. That was definitely a good move from him.
Really nice. Putting some shots into Bob. Bob goes up the switch, and then Xerox follows. It's a bit late, but he still gets the position here on Bob. Bob tries another switch. Xerox reacts late. He tries another switch. He should have this. He has the ECM advantage, but no, he doesn't get the angles he wants here. But it might be some shots. Nope. Another switch coming out of Bob.
Fake switch. That was a double up from Bob right there. It did work out a little bit in his favor. Delayed the reaction right from Xerox. Delayed it enough to even out the fight. That was a good move from him.
Really nice to see. Now both of the pilots just waiting for that golden opportunity to use an ECM switch, and There we go. Xerox catches on a bit late. He still has the angle advantage, but no shots, no opportunity to put any shots into Bob. Bob goes horizontal. Xerox follows. He goes down. It's a really bad move. But Xerox, he doesn't really follow that well.
I think that was more of just angle priming. You know, Bob knows that he's giving him position, but I think that Bob is just trying to drag him into some scissors right now. I think that's a good move. I think it's, you know, definitely, you know, just trying to stalemate. You know, it just gets old. You know, it just takes up time. It just ruins momentum and confidence. Indeed. So I think that was a good move of trying to prime the angles, get yourself into defense, and then reset the fight from there. Good move.
Yeah, Bob's always been a fan of the method to drag out on his defense.
The switch.
Going for that
he missed it. He didn't even follow up on the switch. He's gonna pay really for this. Where is he?
Yeah,
Bob is cutting into him.
Yeah. Good move from Bob right there. Definitely.
I think the nerves got to him there. Always follow the switches.
Right.
Never
Looks like
underestimate
Bob,
your enemy.
great following from him. We could see a honey trap very soon, though, from Xerox. But, oh, shots coming in from Bob right now. Xerox, I'd be panicking if I were him right now, definitely. So that honey trap might not go according to plan, just because of the panic.
Simple switches like this isn't gonna get you anywhere if you have no ECM. But now, Xerox, no, that's not
dives
a good
down
move.
to the left. Oh,
he delays
bad
the move. He goes down twice. It's not.
I'm
really
sure
good.
that Xerox is in Bob's cockpit view right now, or that, or very close. Yeah, well, this could be the kill shot right here.
This is gonna be the kill if he follows up here.
Right there. Yep,
there we go.
There we go.
It's a
Bob
beautiful
takes
disable.
round 2, 2-0 in favor of Bob.
It looks like the nerves are getting to Xerox here. He's doing some really weird switches, like going down twice, double downs. It's, you know, if the pilot can follow stuff like that, you're done. You can't do anything. You're just giving away angles. It's just, you're giving it up. You have to be quick and snappy and break the angles. You can't.
And right away, we go into round 3.
There we go.
Round 3. Alright, here we go now. So we got Zero-X going for the Twitch going down. Bob's just falling for some head-on shots right now. Both just trying to gain some angles, going for some scissor loops.
Getting very close to the antenna right now. He could see a weird effect here. But Xerox decides to switch down. Oh, Bob does not see that at one bit. He sees that extremely late. Great position from Xerox right now. This could be... Let's see if Bob can pull it out right now. Bob has done so every single time so far, but right now this does look a little bit different. Right now the position is very heavily in favor of Xerox. Heavy shots coming from Xerox right now. I would not be surprised if that was 40 or 50% right there.
Yeah, it's looking quite grim for Bob right now, especially when Zero's about to get some angles, perhaps from the switch right now. Goes up.
That was
Bob
bad.
goes up only slightly.
It was a good counter from Bob.
Again,
Xerox
another counter from Bob right here.
Bob decides to switch down to the right. Oh, Xerox sees that.
Shots.
Very little damage. If I had to guess, if there was any, probably 5% or so, maybe, if that. Bob decides to switch up into the left, though. No, Xerox. And Bob sees that. Gets some head-on shots into Xerox as it is right now, and Bob switches up from the left. Gets more positioning over Xerox right now.
So we got Bob just maintaining his position behind Xerox right now, and Xerox is just trying to do... And he goes horizontal right now, down. Bob sees that, follows right through. If he can manage his speed, might get some shots here now. Not quite. Bob continues to follow, goes up with ECM. Zero now goes down, ECM pops, goes for a horizontal.
Bob is late to follow.
A slight delay in his response right there from Bob, but he still has some position over Zero and gets some shots now.
Ooh,
Zero goes up, Bob goes up again. Zero now, just going for some loops, trying to gain some distance from Bob, but Bob has always had really good speed. Definitely, he's probably keeping around 311 to 313 right now.
Bob is cutting from the in and the outside. He really knows how to work his angles. There we go. He gives Bob even more angles. This is what we talked about the last time. It's a disable. He's down to 3-0. Xerox really needs to start picking up on his mistakes. What's not working. He needs to just try to keep that calm. You know, it's do or die right now. Is the playoffs for United Dogfighters. He has to fight to keep himself in this.
We see some nice sportsmanship in the chat.
I had my sound muted.
Oh, okay.
So this is round 4 right away. Wow. Alright, so you have Bob, he decides to go upwards. Xerox does an ECM switch down. Again though, Bob, things are looking very grim for him. The pressure's on. It's 3-0. It is do or die for him. And right now, it definitely looks like he's gonna die. I mean, we have very heavy shots coming from Bob as it is right now, and these switches are just simply not working out for him anymore. What he needs to do is he needs to drag Bob into scissors, and then once he's off camera, switch away and hope that Bob doesn't see it or sees it very late. I think that might work for him, and he might get the angles to get the one kill he needs to get back in the game. As it is right now, though, it's looking very grim. But Bob decides to switch away. Xerox does not see that, or sees that very late. He sees the smoke very late. Fight is now even. All that advantage he had is now gone. And, ooh, ECM decides to go up.
Yeah, we can see the benefit of Bob's morale right now. He's become much more dominant over Zero, unlike the start of the match where ZeroX immediately cut him at the beginning.
Yeah, we definitely see a lot more ballsy moves coming from Bob as it is right now. But, Xerox, I still have faith in him. I think he can still pull this out, It's just, we'll see how that switch works out for him. Right now, an even fight. This is the perfect thing. This is the perfect situation, but Bob decides to take advantage of it first. Oh, bad switch from Bob. That's going to give Xerox the position that he needs to get some shots in. But right now, it looks like Bob's speed could carry him through this. Bob decides to switch down. Xerox sees that, but ooh, we could see a honey trap here soon. Yes, the honey trap worked out perfectly from the looks of it. Fight is even again. Good move from Bob there with the honey trap. Xerox sees that switch up, but decides to completely switch away. And ooh, that if he kept going, that might have been an okay switch, but that actually proved to just work out in Bob's favor. That was a bad move from Xerox. But again, we could see if he turns this around or not. If he doesn't let Bob run away with his offense like he has been, I think that Xerox could still pull this out and still score another point to get back in the game. As it is right now, though, Bob decides to switch up. Xerox goes down. Again, just work it, just really systematically, just drag Bob into the scissors and then switch away. Right there, exactly what I was talking about. But, oh, jeez, yeah, no, Bob saw that very early. Fight remains even, though.
Fantastic awareness from Bob.
Ooh, almost crashed with the antenna. Bob decides to switch up with ECM. Bob could set and get some shots in right now, but no, decides not to take the shots. Just, keep working on my position right now, get some better shots in later. Bob decides to go horizontal to the left. Could get some shots in right now. Decides to do some fake shots instead.
Yeah, Bob really likes to do fake shots because his ethos about the whole dogfighting is that by doing fake shots, he can sort of rattle the opponent.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt.
Down.
That's exactly what the whole purpose of them is, just scare them into doing something wrong, and I think that they're working out perfectly. You can see right now, just from the look of Bob, he's smoking very heavily. Not Bob, sorry, Xerox. Xerox decides to switch down with ECM. We could see a kill very soon here if Xerox does not figure something out quick. Does a honey trap though. It did seem to work out, but he didn't capitalize on that like he should have. He should have just stayed, hugged the ground, and this could be the kill right here. This is definitely the kill. Yeah, there you go.
Bob
disable.
Is good. I have to say, Bob is just superior in the way he's cutting. It's not even, to be honest, it's not even close to the way Xerox's offense is working out for him. And I remember yesterday he fought against Prud, and he did the same thing. He gave away angles by going down towards the ground, switching and going double downs. He gives away a lot of kills that way.
Yeah, I think that a lot of what he's doing is largely due to stress. I mean, these don't seem like moves that you would do on a normal basis. Oh, immediately, though, a very bad start from Xerox. Bob decides to, just stay low. Fight's gonna be even. That start won't last. He knows that, but it's okay. I've been beating him in the neutral game, so I'm just gonna be patient. That's exactly what he's doing right now.
Oh,
switches away.
Really, really risky.
Yeah, very, very risky switch there. But I mean, it has been proving to pay off. So I would definitely try it if I was him.
Yeah, we can tell that Zero is going for a bit more safer play. See if he can make something and compensate on Bob's mistakes instead.
Trying to get some wide angles right now, but does decide to switch down, but he switches right into Bob's field of view right there. Not the greatest move, but still picks up some angles from Bob's bad switch right there. Now, yeah, there you go. Some more shots coming from Xerox right now.
That's good damage there.
Disable. Wow.
You got a point.
Whoa, he turns it. Great response.
Back in the game.
Wow.
Not much time left, but if he can pull that off 3 more times, you got a tie right there. So
now that point could be game changing. Seriously,
yeah, definitely.
The morale could have just shifted completely to 0 now.
I have to say, I think you know. He just figured it out. Xerox, the way he played just a little bit too aggressive there, Bob. And Xerox, he picked up on it because I can see that.
Yeah, he did exactly what we predicted, waiting for those mistakes from Bob, and he did. Bob made one fatal switch, he picked up on it, and immediately a kill shot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, unfortunately though, as much as I'd like to think that would change the momentum in his favor, it definitely did. I don't know how game-changing that'll honestly be. I mean, it's 4-1 right now, and he's got 6.5 minutes, 6 minutes. So, well, we'll see. But you know, if I think Bob learned his lesson from that. He's not going to be doing switches that ballsy anymore, and you can see right away, Bob is slowly, you know, he's just trying to keep the fight even. He just needs to kill time at this point. So he's going to be playing very defensively. Just keep the angles away from Xerox. You know, don't get too ballsy. But actually, no. You know, a good offense is always a good defense, though, right? You can see right now, though, as Bob is slowly gaining angles in Xerox as it is. Xerox decides to switch down to the left. More shots coming from Bob, actually. ECM from both pilots. Bob sees that quite late. Yeah, very late. Fight remains even there, but oh, Xerox again, he goes down. These vertical moves, this vertical displacement just is not helping him at this point. An ECM switch
nice
up from Xerox. Nice cut from Bob. Shots going into the Xerox. And
could be
another
a kill
switch.
Shot now.
Could be a kill shot very soon. Oh, and again, oh man.
There we go.
Xerox decides to go down.
Antenna.
He's trying honey trap him, but I guess he lost his opportunity for that already.
Oh
yeah, there you go.
Right.
Oh, he might have won. I think that's GG right there. I don't know.
It's match point though.
I
don't think that you can come back from 5-1 with what, like 4.5 minutes left. We'll see though. We'll definitely see. Anything can happen.
It's over.
It's over.
Good.
Okay.
This was a good
All
fight.
right.
I really enjoyed that actually.
Yeah. Great fight from Xerox and Bob. Great awareness on Bob, but also great awareness on Xerox's part. So, GG. Good job, guys. Until next time.
And like I said, like you said as well, Bill, I think you meant to say he did the horizontal kinda, the double switch.
Stop the stream?
You know what? No, take it easy. Yeah. Like the one move that gave Bob angles right there. That's what he does, and it really puts him in a really bad position every single time he does it.
Yeah.
I really hope he watches this and sees exactly what he's doing wrong. I think it's gonna give him a lot of improvement.
Yeah.
He can stay away from that.